Hello my friends, welcome back to my channel, and in today's video we're going to talk gratitude journaling, something that is so near and dear to my heart. It's something that I love to do. It was one of the anchors that actually helped me recover, and it was pivotal in saving my life. I did a video back in November where I talk about being laid off at the age of 48, and I went through a lot. I suffered from a very dark depression. I leaned into alcohol and became an alcoholic in that process, and I really let myself go. But the reality is that I needed to go through that process. I needed to go through the process of shedding the old Lissette, because I didn't know it then, but I know it very well right now. Sitting here as I travel for work, I'm in a hotel, but sitting here, and I know for a solid fact that that happened for me, not to me. And I say for me because I learned so many valuable lessons. I became stronger. I became humbled. I became resilient to not settling. I learned my own value. I learned my own worth. And those are very high level descriptions, but it was a 1.5 year long process of me going through all of that. And I always say I am still a work in progress. My work here, my job on me is not done. But what I know for sure today is that it happened for me, and I could not be more grateful for that. But in those dark moments, in those dark days, in those lonely days where I was in the dark in my room, I didn't want to wake up. I did not want to deal with the reality of life. And there were times where I said, I wish I didn't wake up. I did not want to deal with the day-to-day. So, sorry, the air here is so dry. I have some tea here, chamomile tea. So, I really stripped myself down emotionally and mentally to get to where I am today, because it was so dark. And when I was in those dark phases, in those dark moments, the one thing that was very consistent and very constant was the self-pity. Me feeling sorry for myself. I can't believe this happened to me. I can't believe they did this to me. I don't know what I'm going to do. Who am I? How am I going to explain this? How can I face people? What are they going to say? What are they going to think? The list went on and on and on, and I did this daily. As soon as I woke up, and even when I lay down, the thoughts were just on a looping reel in my head. And I then leaned on alcohol to numb that and to take that away. I drank to the point where I would pass out because I just did not want to deal with it. And I say gratitude journal was one of the anchors that saved my life, because that is a fact. It was one of many things that saved my life. And I had this turning point. I had this pivotal moment, and I shared that in that video. I will link it in the description, but I had a pivotal moment, and I remember running upstairs and sitting down and taking a composition book. At the time, I had a composition book. Those notebooks that you buy for maybe 20 cents at Walmart when kids go back to school, the black and white marbled ones. Yes, that. I sat in that room and I just wrote. I wrote to the point where my fingers were numb, my forearm was hurting, it was catching cramps, but I couldn't stop because I needed to release. I was holding on to so much. I was holding on to so much in my head, in my heart, and I needed to let it out. I needed to release it. And so that was one of the things that I did, was free writing. I also got therapy. I did a lot of things, but one of the ways that I was able to get out of that funk, one of the ways that I was actually able to reverse the way my brain was thinking, that I was actually able to reverse how I was feeling, was to start paying attention to things around me that I should be grateful for. Because the reality is, I took all of that for granted. I took the fact that I had a beautiful home, that I have a wonderful family, I have food in my refrigerator. I had a lot of consistency in my life. I had a lot of things that were still running normal. The only thing that was disrupted was me going to work. I didn't have a job to go to. But everything else in my home was pretty much intact. But I was so deep in my depression that I couldn't see it, I couldn't feel it. There was no way that anyone could convince me that everything was great, because in my mind, it wasn't. And I started gratitude journaling at that point. It took about, I want to say, 3 months after my last day of my employment. That's when I was really heavy into alcohol, and I couldn't take it anymore. It was driving me nuts. Waking up every day feeling sorry for myself. I got tired of hearing myself say things that I felt sorry for myself about. It was driving me insane, but I couldn't get out of the cycle. I was the hamster on the wheel, and I didn't know how to get off of that wheel. And I decided, let me start gratitude journaling again, because gratitude journaling is something I did in my mid-20s. I did it all the way up until maybe my late 30s. But my kids got older and they got busier, and life was lifing. And I needed to be a present mom, and I needed to do things, and I had a full-time job. I was working on my career. All these things were happening at the same time. So gratitude journal, like many things, took a backseat. And I decided to start gratitude journaling again because I told myself, I need one thing. I need to focus on one thing that is going to make me feel appreciative, because then I started to feel like a brat. I did. I felt like a complete little spoiled brat. And I didn't like the way that felt. I didn't like the way I felt. I didn't like who I became for many reasons. And so I focused on one thing, and I decided, okay, what's the one thing that I can be grateful for? What is the one thing that I can focus on and say, I need to write this down? So my composition notebook was my free writing notebook, but it was also my gratitude journal. In there, I started with one thing that I was grateful for, and that was waking up. Because like I said earlier, there were times where I didn't even want to wake up. So I started with that, and I would just write it down. I needed something that I could easily access. I needed something that was at my fingertips. So when I felt it, I saw it, I recognized it, I could write it down. It was almost like that immediate gratification for me. And I would carry that little composition notebook with me all over the house because I needed it. And I started with writing that one thing down. And then as the days progressed, I started to really focus and pay attention to other things that I was grateful for. It really shifted my focus from woe is me, feeling sorry for myself, to I could still feel sorry for myself, but I need to be a little bit grateful. And it did this thing to my brain where every day I woke up with the intention and with the focus to look for things intentionally to be grateful for. Even if that meant my earlier entries were, I woke up. I opened my blinds because my blinds were something that stayed closed. The time that I woke up at 9:30 instead of 1 o'clock in the afternoon. I got dressed. I put on real clothes. Like these were my very first entries because I was grasping at straws at this point to just focus on anything that I could be grateful for. And slowly but surely, every day as I wrote into it, and I still keep it as a daily practice, and I travel with it. It's right here. And it's something that I look forward to doing. It is my daily routine. I never want to lose sight of what I'm grateful for. I never want to lose sight of all the things that I have been blessed with. And it humbles me every day. So I would write anywhere from one thing. There were days where I would write 20 things. Now, was it always, 5 or 10 things? No. There were days where I would only write 1 to 2 things. I wasn't going to try to make up anything. I really needed, because I was in such a dark space in my head and in my life, that most days were a blur. And I was still drinking heavily. So a lot of things I don't even remember. But at the moments that I was sober and at the moments that I was okay, I would focus on things to be grateful for. And then it really started to help shift how I felt and how I looked and how I woke up and how I showed up for my family, how I showed up for myself. And it was one of the anchors that really shifted me in a positive way. And this is something that I shared in that video very loosely, but a lot of you grasped it and you really, sent me your comments. I read every single comment, and I'm here to tell you that I have a little surprise for you. I put together a little PDF for you. I produced this. I did this myself on Canva, but I have this little PDF and I will link it in the description below. It's a free printable for you because I really want you to start the practice. I really want you to feel what I felt. If you find yourself in a place where you are struggling and you are in a mental dark place and you are really struggling with thinking of positive things because you are like the way I was, woe is me, self-pity, constantly feeling sorry for yourself, I want you to practice this. I want to encourage you to look at this list, these prompts that I put together for you, and try it. And I did 28 gratitude journal prompts because February has 28 days. It's the shortest month of the year. And I figured this will probably be a good time to start a gratitude journal, because at the end of it, after the 28 days are done, February is the month of love, it's Valentine's Day, all the things. And I want us to start putting ourselves first, especially my women out there. We spend so much time taking care of everyone else, making sure everyone is happy, that we lose sight of making ourselves happy. And so through these gratitude journal prompts, it's one for every single day. I broke them down into 5 categories because I know that it was hard for me even. So I decided, let me do something that will help encourage to start the practice. It's like yoga. You have to practice it. It is not a routine. Yoga is a practice, and so is the daily gratitude journaling. That's a practice. And it takes 21 days to build a habit. Well, this is 28 days. And I want to encourage you, I want to challenge you to do this gratitude journal prompt exercise for the month of February. So let me walk you through a couple of them. But again, I will link the PDF in the description. It is completely free. And I really want you to start thinking about and actively writing things down, because I forget the science percentage, but they say that when you write things down, it actually imprints what you're writing in your brain versus reading it, which is why I am a pen to paper girl. So writing it down, I'm not saying I would not encourage you to keep a digital gratitude journal. I want you to get into the practice of picking up a writing instrument and physically writing in a notebook. And let me say this, because you guys know I am anti-overthinking. Do not overthink this. Please, for the love of all things that are great, do not overthink this practice. Go to Walmart. Go to your local Walgreens. Go anywhere. I don't care where you go. Get yourself a 1-subject notebook. Where I have one here. Where is it? I don't see it. Oh, get yourself a 1-subject notebook from Walmart, from anywhere. Get yourself a 1-subject notebook. Get yourself a composition book. Those marbled composition books that you buy for your children for school. Get one of those. The goal is to start writing. It doesn't have to be perfect. You don't have to spend an hour at Staples or in a stationery store finding the perfect journal. You don't have to go on, any kind of storefront that's online and spend hours scrolling looking for the perfect journal. No. We're not doing that. We're going to start the practice of gratitude journaling. So the 5 categories that I have put together, and for me, these are major categories that I think apply to so many people. I would say they apply to most. Will they apply to everyone? No, but they apply to most. And you can tweak these. You don't even have to follow this. I want you to use this as a foundation. I want you to use this as a blueprint, as a guide to get you started with the practice of writing gratitude in your gratitude journal. I'm having a really hard time speaking. I'm in a different time zone and I'm exhausted. It's very late here. Bear with me. Okay. So the first one is week 1, self-reflection. And some of the questions are, what is something about yourself that you're proud of? Isn't that such a good question? Because we can get down the rat race of paying attention to everyone else, praising our children, praising our family members, but what about ourselves? We tend to think as women that that's self-loathing. No, that's self-care. It's okay for you to be proud of yourself. I am proud of the woman that I am today. I am proud of the work that I have put in to be able to start a YouTube channel and come to you at the wee hours of the night in a different time zone and record this video for you, because I want you to feel what I am feeling. I want you to experience the blessings and all of the amazing things that are going to come out of you keeping a gratitude journal. I want you to feel that. I want you to experience that because I felt it. Okay? So for week 2, I categorized it as relationships because relationships are a big part of our lives. So week 2, relationships. The first question that's in here is, write about someone who has positively impacted your life. Just write about it, right? You can do what I did and just keep a general gratitude journal of paying attention to things that you're grateful for that day. I decided to do journal prompts because a lot of people aren't wired that way, and it's hard for them to think of what to write. They open up a notebook. The blank pages are daunting. The blank pages are overwhelming. And people feel like they need to fill up the entire page. And I also want to emphasize that's not what this practice is about. This practice is about taking a few minutes out of your day and having a reflective point and really thinking of your day and how it went and being grateful. Whether that's one thing, whether that's 5 things, whatever it is. These are 28 prompts, 1 for each day, because I didn't want it to be too overwhelming. So in week 3, I categorized it as life experiences. This is a big one. And the first question on here is, what's a place you visited that fills you with gratitude? And I can easily answer this for you, even for myself personally. What's a place you visited that fills you with gratitude? And for me is visiting my granddaughter. It fills me with so much gratitude. Watching my daughter be a mom is surreal. It is out of body, and she's an amazing mom. And so when I visit them, it fills me with gratitude that my heart can explode. It really can. Right? So it's something as simple as that, and writing about that experience, right? And the whole time I'm writing, because I love my granddaughter, I love my daughter, writing about that whole experience, I'm smiling the entire time. So even if I'm having a very bad day, when I'm sitting down and I'm thinking about her and I'm writing about her, it fills my heart with so much joy, and I am smiling the entire time I am writing about her. And then week 4, it's categorized as just everyday gratitude. And the first question on there is, name one thing in your home that makes life easier or more enjoyable. And this one is also super easy for me because it's gratitude journaling. It's free script, it's free writing, right? These are the things that I value. It's not the fancy iPhone. It's not the digital products. It's not the gadgets. It's none of that. It is having my favorite pen and sitting down in the quiet of my room and taking 10 minutes out to myself to just journal. And so I have a 30-minute evening routine. If you guys want to know my evening routine, I'll be more than happy to do a video on that. Just leave me a comment and let me know. But I hope that this video has helped you. I really hope that you consider starting this February 28-day gratitude journal challenge. And I don't even want to call it a challenge because it feels daunting, but I want you to start this gratitude journal practice, because practice makes perfect. And the more you do it, the more joy you will get out of it, the more you will look forward to it, because it makes you forget about all this craziness that's happening in this world. For 10 minutes, all you think about is that question and writing down what makes you happy, what you are grateful for. So I will link this in the description box. It is free. I want you to share it with loved ones. I want you to share it with the women in your life, your cousins, your mother, your sisters, your nieces, your daughters. Share it with them, because as women, we get lost, and I'm speaking from experience. We get lost because we're taking care of so many people, and we're doing so many things. I call it, we have a lot of folders open in our brain. Some people call it tabs. I call them folders, because folders are deeper than tabs. So I have a lot of folders open in my head, and sometimes I just want to close them and put them away. So let's open the folder of self-care, and let's start with taking care of ourselves from the inside, taking care of our soul, taking care of our spirit, taking care of things so that we can feel happy and we can feel valued, even if that value is self-valuation, even if that value is what you are proud of yourself, and being confident and being okay with confirming that and speaking that into existence, because you've worked hard for it. And like I tell a lot of my subscribers, you are worthy. That is all that I have for you for tonight. Thank you for being here. Thank you for listening to all of my bloopers. You guys know I'm a one-time recorder. I record, I upload, and I am done. So thank you for being here. Thank you for listening to my tongue twisting and my coughing and all of the things. But I hope that what you take away from this is that you are worthy, and I want you to start the gratitude journal. I did it again. The gratitude journal, self-care, and the practice. I think you will love it. I think that you will enjoy it. And I want you to report back. I want you to come back to this video, and I want you to comment, and I want to hear from you. I want to hear from you on how this has changed your life. I want to know how much progress you've made and what you felt and what you've experienced. I also want to know who you've shared it with, because sharing is caring, and we need to take care of each other. We need to take care of our women in our lives and in our family, now more than ever. So for the last time, thank you for being here. Thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. And until the next one,